I'm being joined in the studio by Zariyi Yusuf, former coordinator of Middle Belt Compatriots. Thank you for joining us, Zariyi.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
The truth is that some of us feel this pain when we see these ceremonies, but yes, they've been buried today. You've seen the data. We're looking at the level of debt in the Middle Belt. One would think that they should be coming down with all the efforts that are being put in place by the security operatives. Or what's going on?
Well, it's quite unfortunate that while it seems the propaganda is more towards getting people to think a lot is being done, change is coming, it's actually getting worse. And let me start by saying, in my estimation, which some people said is too economical, between now and the election we are so crazy about in 2027, we are likely going to see at least 10,000 deaths by the hands of these Islamists, the rate at which they are doing what they are doing.
Why would you be projecting such numbers?
Look at it this way. What happened in Kwara State? What happened in Kwara State was not just random. They met a people and they wanted to settle. They wanted to be absorbed into that community. Of course, the people will have to accept their ideology. So the hope was to use them as a human shield. By so doing, the idea is from that base, that should be the base from which the southwestern part of the country would suffer the same fate as the Middle Belt. We've said a lot of times Nasarawa is a camp and all of that, but nobody seems to do anything about it. Now, the people disagreed, and that was basically what led to that mass murder. It basically happened within a very short period. When they realized they didn't agree, they needed to punish them. But one of the danger of it was that they set apart those with whom they shared ethnic identity together, and that makes it more dangerous. Now, if that happens, just about close to 200 people were killed. But then if they needed a base that much, they needed to be absorbed, they needed human shield. It means there is greater danger that awaits the southwestern part of the country. That was supposed to be their gate into the southwest. That was basically why the killing was that high. So, and you would hear stories about government paying huge sums to get people abducted to be released and all of that. That gives you an idea of a government, I've always said, that is either complicit or tends to be officially sympathetic to the cause of these, Islamists.
We'll take a moment and we'll come back. We'll come back to this conversation vis-a-vis the Constitution, the role of the government as regards welfare and security of its citizens. We'll pick up from that when we come back from this break. Just stay with us. Welcome back. Before we get back to that conversation, let's just look at the story. A major shift in U.S.-Nigeria relations is unfolding. American lawmakers are proposing a landmark bilateral agreement. In a joint report, the House Committees on Appropriation and Foreign Affairs are calling for a strategic partnership designed to protect Nigeria's vulnerable communities and dismantle jihadist networks. The proposal seeks to swap Nigeria's long-standing reliance on Russian and Chinese military hardware for American-financed equipment. Now, we still have Zariyi Yusuf here with us. Zariyi, that's what the U.S. Congress is trying to do. Bilateral, agreements that would ensure that Nigeria depends more on U.S. Someone says it's neo-colonialism that they're trying to push forward. But in a situation where our own constitution is being, unofficially being flouted, the portion I'm talking about is where the law says the number one concern or responsibility of any government is the welfare and security of the citizens. What do the people do? And yet there's no room for self-defense, so to speak.
Yeah, so that I think what the US is doing works on the idea that these countries that so far have, because we speak a lot about sovereignty, why should a foreign state involve itself? But what the Chinese have been doing in Nigeria since 2015 is just way out of it. There are a lot of places they mine, you don't know what basically they take. So we are more like a colony of China, but we seem to be more comfortable with any other alternative that is not the West. Now, the Chinese, the Russians have never, with regardless of our reliance in their military hardware or whatsoever, they have never focused on basically what kills most of Nigerians, or what I would say kills the most people on the earth, which is in Nigeria, Islamism. They haven't focused on that. And there are some of us that even feel that they have used this crisis basically to secure their interest in Nigeria. So while it may come across as, okay, is somebody trying to colonize us when the US is saying we need to, we need to review this and look at things differently, it is not. I think there is a more genuine concern to bring an end to these Islamist activities from the US, which is basically in the interest of Nigeria. And for whatever reason, you don't speak about sovereignty as far as Nigeria is concerned, at least right from 2015, when these foreigners could do anything. And then with the Islamists, who basically do whatever they want, and they still live in the country. And then the only time they interface with the government is not that they are getting eliminated, but somebody is moving huge sums, billions, for them to release people they've captured. What do they do with those billions? At some point, some people will tell you it's a harder thing. Well, you would hope there would be ranches, you would hope there would be some sort of things for their cattle. But no, they acquire more arms from the black market. They get more arms, they get more sophisticated, they kill more people, they spread wider into the country. I mean, what happened on the plateau was a case of, I would call them opportunistic criminals from the Fulani ethnicity that actually killed, I think, a number of people.
10.
But it turned out, no, the 10 people that were killed by Islamists. They were killed by these Lapra elements in that area. And they did so in response to the fact that a number of Fulani people were killed. There were people that said they killed some Muslims. They were actually killed. But the question is, nobody wants to be asked who killed them. They were killed by Fulani people, criminals, yes, at least from the details we're getting from the locals. And so in response, these ones jumped on that community and killed them.
That's some Fulani people killed some people, some other Fulanis.
Yeah. So you would hear stories that it's more, so it's looking like a case of a reprisal.
Yeah.
So because earlier on there were concerns that Muslims were killed, and they kept saying Birom militia, Birom militia, Birom militia, and all of that. And I try, we try to ask questions from that, axis, and the people are trying to say, oh, we don't think whatever you are crying of came from us. The people were pinned down on Saturday with a curfew by the military, and then Sunday somebody came and took out 10 of them. So that's why I said it's not just worsening, but it's worsening in a certain trend that makes it very dangerous. Because as at now, ordinarily the Fulani man, the Muslim would say, well, we have our own deaths. But let us assume that what you are saying is true, that there was an attack from the other group. But who does not want to affiliate yourself with terrorists? What is the relationship that the Islamists went to take out 10 people on your behalf? That is, if they were the people, because they weren't. I mean, at least we speak with the locals and they know what's happening. So if it was a case of two fighting, we would have known, but it wasn't. And the people were pinned down with a curfew.
So there couldn't have been any movement.
Basically, which is basically not new in the Middle Belt.
We've been speaking with Zariyi Yusuf, former coordinator, Middle Belt Compatriots. Thank you for coming in this evening.
Thank you so much.
And we do wish you well.
Thank you so much.